Even though trend lines show that poverty in the U.S. has been on the decline for the past 60 years, retirement readiness remains a growing concern.
We already have a system that wasn't on track to provide enough retirement income for people down the road.
Larry Atkins is the president of the National Academy of Social Insurance. He's been meeting with a working group to understand retirement readiness in a changing work environment where people are increasingly moving away from fixed long-term jobs.
So my generation is probably going to come into retirement, is coming into retirement with probably the best outcome from our working lives as far as availability of income and assets and stuff in retirement.
How Americans are saving for retirement is changing. Pensions and defined benefits plans have been declining and being replaced by contribution plans such as 401ks. There's also been a growing trend towards short-term and contract work, more loosely known as the gig economy. Shared rides and food delivery services are just some of the sectors that offer these types of jobs.
The original pensions were set up to kind of pay big bonuses down the road if you stayed with the employer. And then as the nature of employment started to change, then we started to shift to 401ks.
401ks are not available to people in the gig economy, but 34% of Americans participate in gig work, either for a primary source of income or supplemental.
The whole purpose of having the pension, really from the employer standpoint, has been eroded. And so we don't see whole portions of the workforce generating enough value, marginal product in their work to be able to sustain a large contribution to retirement plans and stuff. So gig is a perfect example.
While on one hand, these trends mean Americans have more options, it also means retirement will rely more on an individual's decision to save actively and regularly for retirement.
For the past couple of years, what we found is people have been living paycheck to paycheck. And that one little blip in your paycheck, or that one, time where you might have not received the amount that you're expecting, completely derails the plans for a lot of people.
Elizabeth de los Santos is the founder of the Institute for Financial Education. She worries that Americans are not equipped to take on these changes.
What we need to do is we need to give them access to financial education that's completely unbiased and implement it in the grade school level. Start teaching them how compound interest works.
Fewer than 4 in 10 people have enough savings to pay for an unexpected $1,000 expense in cash. The rest would have to borrow, use a credit card, or take out a personal loan. It's no wonder when COVID-19 hit, it set many people back.
Me personally, going through a divorce, I divorced, and then the next month COVID hit and schools began to shut down and things like that. So it was drastic.
Joanne Poindexter, a single mother of 4, was facing both a divorce and the lockdowns, leaving her with no savings and no ability to get a job.
The economic impact has been really most significant for people who were in the lower income.
For now, Joanne plans to turn to the gig economy, where she can find temporary contract work online. But it won't be sustainable for the long term because she hasn't even begun to save for retirement.
Starting over, I'll be 50 in 15 months. So, that is pretty scary.
Larry believes the solution for short-term contract workers will require cooperation between the employer and the federal government.
The answer is there is a way to do it. I mean, it'll depend on people's political will. But for a long time, we've been talking about adding on, just a very simple kind of characterization of this, adding on a pension contribution on the payroll tax, so that, for example, an employer could say to their employees, you can contribute 3% or more, maybe 4% anyway, and I will increase the deduction for your payroll tax that much for you, and it will go to your account. I will match that then with maybe 3%.
Contributions would then be pulled out by the U.S. Treasury and put into a separate account where it would receive a second match from the federal government. These contributions would be accessible to all types of employees.